everybody. Miss Bev here in the Growzone. Hope you're doing okay, and I hope you've had a great week. Maybe you've been thinking about school and getting ready for it, or wondering what it's going to be like this year. Maybe you've gotten new shoes. Maybe you're thinking about some new clothes. Who knows? But I hope you're having a great week. Well, if you remember our lesson last week in Growzone, it was taken from the book of Exodus. And the Exodus is the second book in the Bible, and that's in the Old Testament. Well, our lesson today is God's love and forgiveness is greater than our sin. And that comes from the book of Leviticus. That's the third book in the Bible, in the Old Testament. Well, the video that you're going to see today is pretty cool. And it starts out by asking you a question. And I'm going to ask you that question right now, even though you're going to hear it again, because I want you to be thinking about this for a while. The question is, have you ever done something really bad? So be thinking about that. Some of us may not have to think that long to remember something really bad that we did, that we feel bad about, or maybe we're a little ashamed, or we feel guilty. Well, in the book of Leviticus, it talks about how people tried to appeal to God's forgiveness when they had disobeyed. And you know, as hard as we might, we all sin and we all disobey God's rules. So let's think about rules. At your house, if you disobey a rule, what happens? Are you, say, maybe grounded? Right off the bat, you're grounded. Do you get sent to your room? Do you have to apologize to someone that you would rather not say anything nice to, especially right then? Let's think about school. What happens when you disobey the rules at school? Now, we're going to have to think back a good ways because you haven't been in school for a while, but in the old normal times, did you get your name put on the board? Did you get a check mark by your name? Did you lose your recess? Or the one that you probably hated the most is, did you get moved away from the friend that you loved to sit with and work with and talk with? Probably why you got in trouble anyway. Let's think about that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the book of Leviticus. What did people have to do then to get their sins forgiven? You see, you have to remember that's the Old Testament. So Jesus had not come yet, and Jesus had not died on the cross for all of our sins, for that final time. No, they had to do lots of sacrificing. They had to go to an altar and do all kinds of things to try to get a priest to go into the Holy of Holies to try to forgive their sins for them. So I wanted to show you in a little illustration that I made of something that might help explain that a little bit more about what they had to do in the book of Leviticus time. Leviticus, this might help explain a little bit. I made my own little, it's kind of a balance scale, and I just used a ruler and some Kentucky Fried Chicken containers, and I made a little scale, and I have it hanging from a dowel rod there. I'm not sure if it's going to turn on me or not, but one of the things that they had to do in Leviticus was to sacrifice their very best animal. So I'm going to put a cow in here because a cow, it was one of the animals that they might have had. They might have had a goat. They might have had a sheep, but at my house, in my toy box, all I could find was a cow. Now, when you sacrificed an animal, you had to take your best animal. And so, you had to take the cow or the lamb or the sheep that was like the prize animal, like first place. It was without blemish. There was nothing wrong with that animal. It was the best. So I'm going to put that there to show you how they might try to atone for their sin, because they would kill that animal, the very best one they had. That was a sacrifice. And then on the other side, I'm going to put God's love. And you can see that it does not equal it out. It doesn't equal it at all. It takes our sin and it far outmeasures it. It far outweighs it. So whatever we do, God's love and forgiveness outweighs our sins. Now let's think about something else. Another thing they might have had to sacrifice, they would take their best grain. And I have some wheat here. I have it in a jar. And this is wheat out of a field. And it would be like the best grain that they have. And I just put some in a little container like this. Yeah, I just poured a little bit out. You can hear that rattle and shake in there. So let's take our first place cow and the ribbon out, and we'll put our wheat in there. And sometimes they would also have some oil. Now, maybe it would be olive oil, but it would be something that would be considered like cream of the crop. And we're going to put the oil in there with the wheat. Now we'll take our love again from the Lord, from God. Again, let's weigh it out. Oh, yes, God's love far outweighs anything that we do. We're so fortunate to have that happen. Okay, so there were a couple of examples, but let's make this a little bit more personal. Let's take some of the sins that we might do. And on this particular bag, I have name calling. Let's put name calling over here, because that's not a nice thing to do. Maybe it's a type of bullying, but we're supposed to be nice. We're supposed to be merciful and tender-hearted toward everyone. But when we call names, let's see, when we go to the Lord and ask forgiveness, His love far outweighs it again. Whoa, it even knocked it out. If we take all of our sins, let's say that we take and add some more sins, like telling lies or making your siblings cry. If we add those onto the scale, still God's love outweighs our sin. He's so forgiving for us. Okay, let's think about what our Bible verse is today. It comes from Romans 5:8. But God demonstrates His own love toward us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Romans 5:8. Even though we're sinners, He still loves us. He still forgives us, now and always, and we needn't be afraid of that. He was willing to die for us. He loved us that much and was willing to forgive us. Well, our video today is a short story from John 4, and it tells us about Jesus meeting, loving, and forgiving a Samaritan woman at the well. I think you're going to like it. So this week, be thinking about who you need to forgive. Maybe somebody that left you out and hurt your feelings, or called you a name, or maybe it was a sibling who damaged or destroyed something that you treasured. Will you be like Jesus? Will you love them and forgive them still, anyway? If you ask Jesus, I know that he will help you do that.
Have you ever done anything really bad?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so
Woman at the well today.
you're telling the story.
Yeah, we're stressing the forgiveness aspect. Oh, hey, Charlotte. Hey, Matt, can we have 5 minutes? Charlotte and Elijah have some candy and some coffee next door for us. We got a couple minutes before we have to shoot,
Candy?
right? Yeah, and
Coffee?
coffee. Oh, yeah. We'll be right back. All right, candy. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thank you. Yes. James. Yes.
Whoa.
Look at all of this.
Fee.
Hello, welcome to the Journey Today Show. I'm James.
And I'm Jeremy.
Today's Bible story is about when Jesus met a woman at the well. Jeremy, go ahead and tell the story.
So, Jesus was traveling, and his disciples didn't really understand where he was going. He met this woman at a well, and she was a Samaritan, and Jesus was a Jew. Now, those two people didn't really go good together. Now, this Samaritan did a lot of very bad things. She wasn't the best woman and didn't make the best decisions. Now, Jesus still loved her anyways and still forgave her for her sins. And Jesus' disciples would have been amazed.
That was a great story, Jeremy. It makes me think of today's big idea. God's love and forgiveness is greater than our sin.
That's right, James. No matter what we do wrong, if we're really sorry for our sins, he will forgive us. Can you think of a time, James, when you have done something really bad that needed forgiving?
Yes, sometimes I can be really cruel to my kids and not let them eat lots of candy.
Yeah, I can be bad sometimes because I don't let my daughter spend enough time on her phone.
It's okay, Jeremy. We are really sorry. God will forgive us. What is today's Bible verse?
Our verse today is Romans 5:8. Read it with me. But here is how God has shown his love for us. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us.
Awesome. I have a discussion question for you. What should we do when we do something bad?
Press pause and discuss. Great question. I have another question for you. What happens when Jesus forgives our sins?
Press pause and discuss.
The kids did a great job.
Uh-oh.
What are you guys doing? Cut this off.
Give me that
Stop
microphone.
it. Stop.
What are you doing?
Oh my goodness.
Give me that.
Hey everybody, thank you for watching the Journey Today show. I believe we've all learned a little bit about forgiveness today.
Yes. Who do you think you are?
You?
And I want you to know I totally forgive you and you are totally grounded.
And Elijah, I forgive you too, but no candy for a week. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Say bye, James.
Bye.
I mean, Elijah.
I do like your outfit. It's nice. You pulled that off well.